Welcome back to another episode of Gritty Iron Gang. Week 9 is in the books. The two games that concluded Week 9 we'll get to right now. The first of which being the Bills at the Bengals, taking the loss 18-24. My notes on this one, man, Cincinnati is back. How do you feel about it?
I said it since last week that they're back. I mean, I think
Dangerous.
Burrow's getting better and better, more healthy, and when that's happening, they become a problem. Because I think besides Mahomes, he's probably the 1B to Mahomes 1A right now.
I agree.
So
The one guy that can consistently go head to head with him. There's other guys that have got Mahomes, obviously,
Right.
that are up there on that quarterback list, but Burrow's definitely that 1B right now.
Yeah.
When healthy.
I just think, and they're doing it at the right time too. So
Without a big game from Chase, too.
yep. So I mean, the more they start clicking, the more healthier he gets. They could be back in the Super Bowl. I mean,
Yeah,
the way it's gonna be a tough out for AFC teams at the end.
it will be.
So
All of them.
it's gonna be an interesting playoffs when we get to the AFC side of things, because I think we kind of know what to expect in the NFC, but the AFC, it's like the top 4 teams can really go at it.
What I do like about the AFC, which I think will be a detriment to Miami, is that they all play in cold weather,
Yep.
except for those Dolphins. So having to travel to Cincinnati, Baltimore, Buffalo, could get ugly.
Yep, and that's why playing for seeding matters.
It does.
So
Losing games like you did to the Chiefs,
yep.
it gets cold in Missouri too.
Yep. So I mean, playing for seeding truly does matter, and that's why I think a lot of frustration comes into some fan bases when you are a good team, because it's like some weeks you see later in the season where they're playing just to get healthy for the playoffs, or not to mess up,
Right.
and just kind of stand pat. But that can really blow it wide open to having a unsuccessful back half of the season. And then when the cold weather starts happening, I mean, we see injuries happen to some key players, and I don't know. I just think you never want to. That's why I always say you never want to let your foot off the gas, because it's a long season. It's grueling as fuck. You're taking beatings out there, but man, you gotta scratch and claw to your way to that 1 or 2 seed and get home field advantage, because that plays such a pivotal role in the playoffs. And this is gonna be an interesting stretch we go on down the road here, coming to the end of the season, or the back half of the season, I should say, because you got KC, you got Cincinnati now, you got Baltimore.
I don't like that you're naming this third now.
No, it was just I know, because I'm more high on Baltimore than I am Cincinnati right now, but
Okay, cool.
it just came out of my mouth that way. So, but I'm just saying, like, you see how it is though up at the top of the AFC compared to the NFC, where you got, I don't know, because of what San Fran's been putting out and what Dallas has been doing, and your really only standout team is Philly right now.
Right.
So it's different than what is over in the AFC this year. So I mean, I don't know, but yeah, when it's all said and done, I do think the Bengals are going to be a scary team. Especially, they went out, it was a 6-point win, which is, doesn't look like a whole lot on the scoreboard. But like I said, the Bills are still a tough out, even though we're kind of off of them now and not sold on them really. But they're still a tough out. They're a talented team still. So, and what way we've been talking about the Bengals to start the year since last year, now this year, they're a slow starting team. And I know Burrow's been dealing with his injury or whatever, but they're kind of gaining that reputation of being a slow starting team.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. They got the win. We thought they'd win. We picked them to win. They've kind of done a complete 180. How we felt about them a couple weeks ago. Buffalo, they're kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Their schedule coming up is looking pretty tough. And
Yep.
that division outside of the New England Patriots, it's not easy. So we kind of were worried about Cincinnati early in the season. Are we worried about Buffalo right now?
I think you have to be. I just don't see it. I don't think they're like the Dallas of the AFC. Yeah, I guess if I can compare someone right now.
Okay.
Like,
That's fair.
like they're good and they're good on paper, but they shit the bed at the wrong time.
Big moments. Yeah. And there's been a lot of talk about Dallas this week, and people not putting the blame on Dak. And yeah, his numbers look good, but at the end of the day, you're not winning the games. You could say the same thing about Josh Allen, so that's a great comparison.
Well, and
Because
then
the talent is there. All
and
over
then
the
like
field.
we start to, you know how it is with fans of winning teams, and especially in a divisional rivalry game between Philly and Dallas, you're gonna have Philly fans talking shit. You're gonna have Dallas fans talking shit because they think they were cheated or they shouldn't have lost or the better team lost. But we're sitting here talking about a Week 9 game, bro. Let's get to the playoffs and see how this would actually fare.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're talking about a middle of the season game. So to be Dallas fans saying the better team lost, you already had a worse record going into the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean?
It's delusion.
It's just like, what are we talking about here?
It's kind of comical at this point. If it's not annoying.
But so like that's why I say Bills are kind of like them to me in a sense, or the Dallas to the AFC, because I'm not saying their fans are nearly as bad as Dallas. I think they're more realistic, but at the end of the day, it's just like you have all the expectations there, your talent on your roster, especially on paper, and you're supposed to be a big time quarterback, but he flounders in big time moments or turns the ball over too much. It's just, yeah. So for me, Buffalo, I'm worried about them because I just don't see them being a team who can get to the playoffs, and especially with the 4 teams ahead of them right now, maybe even 5 teams. Like, I don't see them as a true threat.
The potential Aaron Rodgers comeback in a couple
Yeah,
weeks here.
I'm not worried about Buffalo making the Super Bowl.
That window might be closed, unfortunately.
And like I said, I think Diggs is probably looking to get out of there after this year now.
Yeah.
And what they do with Josh Allen is they're probably going to ride with him still,
Mm-hmm.
but
You have to.
it's going to get pretty ugly before it can ever get better again.
If they lose Diggs, I don't see this team as a playoff team at all next year.
Because Josh Allen's not that good.
He's a big part of what they do. Gabe Davis had 0 catches last week. I mean, Diggs is what makes that offense go. They put a lot of pressure on Allen.
Well,
65% of that is the number.
They were a
team.
pretty average team before Diggs got there.
They were.
So
And he was iffy at quarterback.
yeah,
He was he did for what Allen did is what AJ Brown did for Jalen Hurts.
exactly.
And what
So
Tyreek
because they didn't have expectations like they had that first year Diggs came over, it was like, oh shit, we taking Buffalo serious now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yeah, they have pretty good defenses overall, but Buffalo, point blank period, they're like Dallas to me.
Yeah. They lost their important defensive players, Trayvon White, Matt Milano, probably their 2 most important players, and that's really seeming to having a big effect on the team right now. So, Buffalo, I know they tried to pick up a DB towards the end of the trade deadline, Rasul Douglas, but it didn't really seem to help in this game at all.
No.
Monday night game, we had the Chargers on the road at the Jets, 27-6. Don't have a lot to say about this one besides the Jets desperately need A-Rod back. Zach Wilson, he's, you like to deem guys career backups, throw him in there too.
Yeah, and I think that's what he's ultimately proving now is like he's no more than a backup. Yeah, he can come in and win a few games if you need him to, but he's got to be surrounded by quality guys, players, and he's got to have someone who obviously he knows after this it's not going to be believe in me as a starter, but you're going to have someone. He's one of those guys who kind of needs to be coddled in a way. Like, doesn't take heat too well.
It doesn't seem like it, but when you look on the sideline, it doesn't really seem like those guys even fuck with him.
No.
Their body language, their facial expressions. If you listen to the broadcast, Troy Aikman really does not fuck with him. He's like, get this piece of shit off my TV in so many words. He's not the answer, bro. But this team still being competitive as they are, that defense flies around. They hit hard, they cover well.
It's the defense, bro. And that's, for me,
And Brees and Garrett on the offensive side, that's as good of a wide receiver running back.
that's why I say if there's some miracle that actually does happen this year, we witness a fucking full-on miracle with Aaron Rodgers.
There's a way to be a miracle.
Like, holy shit, that's some type of.
Didn't Cam Akers?
He tore his right ACL a couple years ago, or what was it last year?
I thought it was his Achilles. last year.
Sorry, Achilles. He has right one, and now it's his left one.
But he came back in like 4 months.
Right.
As a running back, Aaron Rodgers, I mean, still crazy.
But,
That's some AP shit.
Right, and I don't know how it's done. So I mean, but who knows? I think that's why. But see, that's the scary part of it because you look at Cam Akers now. I think it still wasn't fully healed, truthfully, because his lower half is overcompensating for just like how weak it is still, and that's why he ended up tearing his left one because it was all that pressure going on that left leg and that left Achilles. So you don't want a guy, especially that old, to come back too quick. Especially if he's got 2 or 3 years left in him. Like, don't push it. Because this team, if they just keep the pieces there, and I would hope that these guys would want to come back and support him because they didn't get the chance to play with him. Mm-hmm. So if they can still maintain fucking next 2 or 3 years, the Jets are going to be something.
He has 2 or 3 years, I think. Just watching his motion beforehand.
And the scary part is, he's probably got another MVP year left in him.
He could. I mean, whether or not you think Gary
could be I can just see this happening to a guy like Aaron Rodgers.
The narrative means a lot, though.
He is going to... It's going to be like Hollywood star power type shit when he comes back.
It will be. It already is.
It's like, Mahomes who? That's what the type of shit he's going to have, media attention he's going to have.
The trending arrow's going to be up every week on Rodgers.
So, it's like, and if he is able to come back this year, and that team could still make the Super Bowl, with him. They could.
It's scary. Yeah, I know. The defense is no joke. That's all it needs. So have an average quarterback.
Yep.
You win that game last night with the average quarterback, in my estimation. I did think the Chargers were impressive to put up 27 points against that defense.
Yeah, but
2 of those came on early turnovers from the Jets.
But now, to me, I think even though they won 27-6, I'm at the point with Justin Herbert. It's like we got to start probably thinking is he even that good? That we keep talking about him the way we do.
I think he's 29 and 28 as a starter now.
So he might be starting to get that Kirk Cousins effect to him.
This is the year to prove it.
I mean, I'm not saying, but obviously Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback.
Yeah, he is.
But he's never in that elite conversation. And that's where I think Herbert is starting to trend towards, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just being that, he's good, he's gonna flounder under big lights, and it's seeming that it's taking that route for him.
Yeah.
And that I'm not getting that, you can't expect his team week to week to go out and win. You know what I mean?
He's Josh Allen's little brother. He gets a lot of garbage time yards. When they're down 27-17, he cuts it to 27-24, and then they might get the ball back.
Yeah.
But he's not the guy at the end of the game either. There's only a select few that you want. Is it time for everybody's favorite segment?
Let's do it.
Our first installation, The Grave Diggers, coming right ahead. Each week, my co-hosts and I will pick one team each to eliminate from playoff contention. Starting off here, there's not going to be a lot of drama or suspense, given that we know who some of the worst teams are. But the idea is that towards the end of the season, these conversations get really interesting. The easy thing here to do, you look at the standings, go down to the bottom, who has the least amount of wins. Yeah. You have 2 teams with 1 win. One of those teams being the Arizona Cardinals. Rookie coach, your number 1 overall pick at quarterback a few years ago, starts the season on IR. Right now, you have the current position of number 1 pick in the draft, so the question is, why risk it? Not going to do that. The other option, obviously the easy option, Carolina. Unlike Kyler Murray coming back this week, they have no hero stepping out from the shadows like Batman. The offensive line is bad. The quarterback is undersized. They can't protect him. The weapons, they're a little bit over the hill. So I think the easy choice, but we're not going to do that either. I think I'm going to take my talents right here. Big Blue. My first team I'm going to eliminate this season. Last year, phenomenal defense. The offense wasn't losing you games. They were keeping you in games. You had a coach of the year in Brian Daboll. And you even got a playoff win against a team we're not going to mention right now. This year, your defense couldn't look worse. Your offense really couldn't look worse. Daboll, he might be on the hot seat. And really, You just traded your best defender to Seattle. Your best offensive player can't stay on the field for 4 weeks. The guy that you got to pair with that offensive player to take this offense to the next level was just placed on IR in Darren Waller. Your quarterback, who got the bag this offseason, just tore his ACL in a routine drop back. So now you have Tommy DeVito, I believe his name is, starting for quarterback, probably for the rest of the season here. I'm just out. I'm out on the New York Giants, and that is my pick.
You already talked about Carolina and Arizona with good reason. They're the easiest two teams to pick right now, being, one-win teams. I think if you look at it, of course, they're going to be eliminated no matter what at this point. But then when I look at this team here, they are having issues with current defensive back and his contract stuff, and he just requested a trade, and then the few trades he's made, DJ Moore obviously is a decent one, but he traded Chase Claypool, and now you just traded for Montez Sweat, who just signed a huge contract for some reason. Obviously, he's going to be a defensive building point for you going forward. But look, you're a 2-win team. You got a piss poor GM who I don't understand any moves he's doing to build this team. And so this is another easy team for me. But not this week. The second team, you have arguably the greatest coach in history of the NFL, but that legacy is starting to take a hit because you don't have Tom Brady and you haven't been doing it with Tom Brady. Your coaching tree is turning out to be atrocious. No one can succeed on their own anywhere, and they come crawling back when it doesn't work out. Matt Patricia, Josh McDaniels. You got a quarterback in Mac Jones who is just not it. You don't have any depth behind him. You are so slow and mediocre on offense on the outside. You have no weapons who have any sort of explosion to them. So it's like a slow, methodical offense you run. Your defense is, hit or miss. So I'd say at best, but they just don't get the job done like you would expect a Bill Belichick defense to do. So, this is another easy team that I think you could put in there. But I'll keep him in one more week. I just think, we'll see. You never know with Bill. So, I don't know. So, with that being said, the team I'm eliminating this week.
I think I know where we're going.
The team I am eliminating this week. Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. How sweet it is to have Green Bay be my first elimination of the season. I think Jordan Love is slowly showing everyone, or maybe quickly, however you want to view it, that Jordan Love is not the answer or the future of that Green Bay team. They are in dire need of better quarterback play, but now we'll never know, or we're going to know eventually, but we just don't know yet how long it's going to take them to find another quarterback or hit on another quarterback like they have Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, because that can be a slow, long, painful process for many teams. And you just signed Rashawn Gary to an extension, which I think he's a focal point of that defense. I think Jair Alexander is very overrated, talks hella shit, but gets cooked more times than not. While they are one of the youngest teams, if not the youngest team in the league, they just don't have enough pieces on either side of the ball, especially offense, to get the job done. I think it's going to be, one of those, you've had so much success over the years, especially the last 20, 25 it's gonna be, hell, 30 years even, but you're gonna be in the cellar for quite a while. There's no climbing out of this hole you're in anytime soon, and for me, it's sweet music to my ears that Green Bay is in the cellar the way they are. I think it's well deserved after all the shit they talk. I wouldn't say they're necessarily as bad as Dallas fans, but they're pretty close. You guys are up there, and I just love seeing the misery on your faces week to week, especially when we beat you, even though it came at the cost of Kirk Cousins going out. But I think even with Josh Dobbs or Jaron Hall, we'll take care of business against you next time as well. But for that, yeah, I just think that Green Bay, they are what 3-4 and 3-5 now. So I mean, small chance that they still make it and they can make me eat my words, but I don't see it happening. I still think the 7 through 10, 11 seed teams right now are much better than the Packers still. So I'm not too worried about them sneaking in. I just think it's one of those years like you're realizing pretty quick that Jordan Love is not the answer, and you guys talked him up to be more than what he is. So, and with that being said, Packers, welcome to Gravediggers.
So we're back for Week 10 picks. Results of Week 9.
Tie. We both went 10-4. So we both had a game that we picked differently. Obviously, you had the Jets last night, and I had the Chargers. The other one that was different
Pittsburgh, Tennessee.
was Pittsburgh, Tennessee. Yep, and you got that one on me. So we went 10-4 this past week, both of us, and so still a 2-game lead. I'm at 84-51 for picks, and you are 82-53 for picks. So it's really not a bad record when you look at the grand scheme of things right now.
We're rounding in shape.
So
we started shaky like Josh Dobbs, but
yeah.
we're close enough.
So it's looking pretty. I'll take this record a lot of times. Most times than not.
If I was a head coach, I'm happy if they show that.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as it's not the other way around. Why the hell do we have this guy? But all right, Week 10, Thursday Night Football. Honestly, might be my favorite game of the year. Carolina Panthers on the road at the Chicago Bears. Justin Fields might be back. I get to see a little Ohio State, Alabama quarterback rivalry if I watch it.
If I watch it.
If I watch this
Exactly.
game, it's going to be atrocious. But I do have a little bit more faith in Chicago than I do in Carolina at this point, unfortunately. I don't really see any signs of success for Carolina going forward this season, and I think it's a really bleak future. I'm going to mention it again, no draft pick coming up here. So I would like to think they're going to throw everything they have at Chicago, which should be enough to win against a team of the Bears' caliber. But I think Chicago is just coached a little better, has a little bit more talent, probably will get this job done in DJ Moore's revenge game.
Yeah, and I have it that way for all the same reasons, because I was battling back and forth thinking I wanted to pick Carolina pretty bad in this game.
Yeah, me too.
Because just main fact that they don't have that first round draft pick and they have nothing to go out there, and why would you not play to win? You know what I'm saying? There's nothing to tank for. So that's the reason I wanted to pick them. But I still think, based on, even if Fields doesn't play, based on what I saw against the Saints and what they did against the Raiders, even though that was with McDaniels at the helm, but Chicago's had a couple decent games recently where it makes me think like they can handle business with Carolina. So
they can put something decent together.
Yeah, and they had that one when Fields played that last Thursday night game against Washington. They trounced them. So yeah, like they're capable of doing it against Carolina.
Now that I think about it, Carolina's pick might belong to Chicago.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's tough. That's funny. Indianapolis at New England in Germany, 8:30 Sunday morning, or is it Saturday? I assume it's Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with the Colts in this one. I don't see myself picking the Patriots anytime soon, and never thought I'd be hearing myself say those words out loud while Billy's there.
No, I definitely think Indy's gonna win this game. I can't trust Bill and those Patriots anymore, man. Like, it's not the Tom Brady years. Those feel like years ago. Like
we were watching those in 480p or something.
Yeah, like it feels such a long time ago now, and it's like
you know, I look at Bill and he just looks so unhappy with his life now, and it's like it's all over his face week to week. I show him. So I mean, there's nothing going right over there, and I think you know, especially at his age, I would think that they'd want to go a different route now for him to just be able to coach and not have to do GM duties. Like, I think that's really holding them back at this point because he hasn't put teams together that well as of late.
Yeah, I agree. We have 3 intriguing games here. I'm going to let you decide which one we talk about first. Cleveland at Baltimore, San Fran at Jacksonville, or Houston at Cincinnati.
I think we have to go San Fran versus Jacksonville.
Okay, I like that pick. Why'd you pick that one?
Because I think we've seen San Francisco, you know, taking some major heat the past few weeks, you know, losing 3 in a row, and, you know, they had a bye this past week, correct? So, you know, that was a much needed time to have a bye at that point in their schedule. They can get back to the drawing board, regroup a little bit. And then we have an up and coming, you know, team in the AFC with Jacksonville, who needs to be taken seriously. So while you got San Francisco is going to be on the hunt for another win, you got Jacksonville trying to hold those lofty expectations above their heads still. And for me, it's I want to go with San Francisco here. I just think that they're going to be super hungry after that bye, and I think they're a team that, you know, they knew they needed that bye at that point, just the downfall they've been on. And not saying it's going to change anything with Brock Purdy per se, but you can really, you know, take a deep breath, regroup with that defensive side of the ball, and be able to come back and show why you're top defense in the league still. It's still early in the season for them, and their season, you know, we can't count them out ever. They're always there at the end of it. Even though we've seen these San Francisco teams with Kyle Shanahan have rough patches in the season, during the seasons before. So I think they're going to be super hungry to get this W. And I think it's definitely going to be a close game because I think Jacksonville is a great up-and-coming team, and that they're going to be hard out for anyone in the AFC that they have to play. So it's going to be, I like this game a lot. It's going to be very, this should be one of those, you know, smack you in the mouth type of games.
I agree. San Fran, like you mentioned, they lost 3 in a row. Went into that bye. It was much needed. Jacksonville, also coming off a bye, they're 6-2. Hoping to capitalize off that record, go 7-2. I think this is a prove-it game. Say it again, San Fran lost 3 in a row. Who are you really? Are you the most dominant team in the league? Or are you going to be a 5-4, middle of the pack, Kyle Shanahan, every season kind of team? Jacksonville, are you going to be entered into that upper echelon in the AFC, or are you going to be in that middle of the pack still?
Right.
So, with all that being said, I'm going to go Jacksonville in this one. I've seen a little bit more consistency from this offense this year. San Francisco, I'm not sure what the issue is. Brock Purdy, losing my trust week by week. When you're not an elite guy, you're losing my trust. It's really hard for me to get it back. I'm going to go Jacksonville in this one.
All right.
Houston at Cincinnati or Cleveland at Baltimore?
Let's go Cleveland at Baltimore. I think, you know, for me, what Baltimore did to Cleveland the last time around, you know, was truly astounding at the time because of how good that Cleveland defense was playing. This time around, though, it shouldn't even be an intriguing game because of how good Baltimore is and how even a Deshaun Watson-led Browns offense, it's just like, who cares? He's overpaid completely. He's like majorly overpaid. Stole money from the league, stole money from the Browns. I mean, it's like crazy to me thinking about it now. But that defense is still, you know, a top defense. But it's hard to get up for. I mean, they'll get up for this game obviously, but it's hard to get up and maintain that type of physicality and energy against another physical team. We saw it the other time. There's just the first time they played this year. Baltimore was a different class than Cleveland. So I'm not worried about Baltimore faltering in this one. I think they'll handle business and keep proving why they're, you know, the first or second ranked team in the league right now.
You would think this game would be a little bit closer and might even favor Cleveland based off the first matchup, going with the third string quarterback against Baltimore. They pretty much look the same. We look way better. So I almost feel more confident in Baltimore winning this game against Cleveland. Also because we have a big game next Thursday that we know we can potentially lose.
Yep.
And when Joe Burrow's healthy, we typically do lose. So I think that's in the back of our minds, and we know we have to go win this one. So I got Baltimore. The last of these games, speaking of those Bengals, they're hosting the Texans. How do you feel about this one?
I think while it can, on paper and in theory, be an intriguing game, Cincinnati's still in a different league than Houston right now. Joe Burrow's getting healthy. They got a weapons, weapon palooza over on offense for Joe Burrow. And Houston, they still got a rookie quarterback, even though he's having a phenomenal year for a rookie. D'Amico Ryans is turning into, be a solid head coach and showing that he could even be another next great head coach. So while I like what's, I'll say it every week, I like what Houston's doing. I like, what they're showing and what they're putting out and what they're building. But you're still not there yet to go into this game thinking you can upset Cincinnati. You can think it, but you're just not there yet to actually do it. So
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the defenses are pretty average to good on both sides. Quarterbacks have been playing well as of late. C.J. Stroud, 14 touchdowns, 2 picks on the season. Joe Burrow, healthy, looks like the second best quarterback in the league. I think when that's the case, it's pretty hard to bet against Cincinnati. But I do think Houston's going to put up a hell of a fight this year.
they will.
New Orleans at Minnesota. Talk about it.
Man, we all know what happened this past Sunday with Jaron Hall going down that first drive, getting concussed, and then Josh Dobbs not, getting there last Tuesday, not even taking a snap throughout practice the whole week. Had 2 practices to get ready, pretty much spend all day, every day in the facility to learn what he has to learn on a short week. And then he gets thrown into the fire. And he does what I don't even know the percentage of quarterbacks past or present, future that can go in and do what he did. I mean, to truly, they have to dumb it down to the point where they're running pretty much a preseason offense for him. Look, Josh Dobbs everywhere he's been hasn't had playmakers or weapons or an offense like this before. So I think, now because of what he did, he's getting the opportunity to start this week again. Even though I don't know if that's more so due to Jaron Hall still being in concussion protocol or Dobbs fully earning that right even when Jaron Hall's healthy, to keep being starter. Either way, I think we'll be fine, especially to keep fighting for that 7th seed.
Mm-hmm.
I think the more you get, I think this week for sure is going to help Dobbs immensely just because of how smart he is, and I think he'll be able to digest a lot of things this week and then go out there and, he already has some chemistry built now with the guys. Look, it's 1 week. We beat the Falcons by 3. It's the most points we put up all season. But it's like, let's just slow our roll and not anoint the guy yet. You know what I mean? Like, he did something remarkable. Kudos. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves here. Like, let's still keep it in perspective of what it truly is yet with a backup and not Kirk Cousins. But I think that we are very set up now between Jaron and him to fight for that 7th seed still, and they both give us mobility for a quarterback that we haven't had in some time. It still makes me nervous playing the Saints because we have a little bit of history there between us. So this game is, always going to go down to the wire, I think. I'm going back and forth between this one. Even with Jaron or Dobbs still quarterbacking, after what I saw last week, I have to go Minnesota because I'm going to ride that wave until it crashes. And I don't trust the Saints. I haven't all year.
You can. Saints might put 3 different quarterbacks out there. I never like that. I got to go Minnesota as well. Green Bay at Pittsburgh. I don't have a lot to say. I think Tomlin's going to get it down and get it down fast.
Tomlin's going to make mincemeat of Jordan Love.
Yeah, I believe so. This is just a tough schedule for this young kid, man. Poor guy. I know you don't feel any remorse for him, but
No.
Every week I feel like I'm saying the same thing. Tennessee at Tampa Bay. A more interesting game.
This was a tougher one to pick.
For sure.
Same record. The Titans just named Will Levis the starting quarterback going forward. Baker Mayfield, you never know what you're going to get.
Questionable all around.
So I could go either way with this one. But, and I kind of do want to go Tennessee just because of, even though it wasn't the most cleanest or prettiest game from Will Levis, he did pretty damn good job against Mike Tomlin defense.
He did.
So that I would like to lean that way, but I'm just gonna go with the better, not quarterback per se, but he's got more weapons over there. They have been having a pretty good year on defense, and I think Tampa Bay is able to give them more fits than what he can handle. So
They have a pretty decent defense. They gave up 40 points to Houston last week. I was thinking about taking Tampa Bay. I feel like I do, but I'm gonna shake things up here and go Tennessee.
all
I
right,
do like what Will Levis did against Pittsburgh. Derrick Henry is still a monster back there. You still have an elite weapon at wide receiver. I know you're missing Treylon Burks, which hurts a lot. Even though he hasn't been productive, he's still another guy out there that can do something. Don't feel confident in it, but I do like Tennessee's coaching staff. Vrabel over, I don't even know who Pittsburgh had.
Todd Bowles?
Todd Bowles. Shame on me. Detroit at the Chargers. I think this is going to be an interesting.
This is gonna be interesting, man. This is gonna be so interesting for me. Listen,
Probably the only interesting game here going the rest
this
of
is my upset of the week.
That's unfortunate. Okay.
Because, look, yeah, they put 27 up against the Jets.
Which is whatever.
Right.
Kind of like 13.
Yeah. But you never know which Chargers team you're gonna get, and you never know which Herbert you're gonna get. But I think they still got enough firepower over there, even though Brandon Staley just is a complete moron. I don't know. I feel something like this is just one of those games that we notch another loss to the Lions on the record this year. Because the Lions, they're not a 2-loss or 3-loss team. They're gonna have at least 4 losses on the year.
They should.
So this is one of those games I think that the Chargers are a good enough team to really give them some fits. You've seen the lowly ass Raiders with McDaniels give fits to the Lions. So I'm not sold on the Lions. Yes, they're having a great year. Yes, they're on the up and coming, and they're building things the right way over there. But they're still the freaking Lions, bro. At this point, they're not an elite team. So I'm not. If I'm the Chargers, I'm not scared of them. I could put a beating on them a little bit and rough them up a little bit and come away with the W.
Fair enough. I kind of wanted to pick the upset as well. Detroit got their ass smacked like a newborn baby against Baltimore the week before their bye. They had a week to prepare for the Chargers. Jameson Williams, he's going to get more acclimated into the offense. They got another weapon over there they got at the trade deadline. Jahmyr Gibbs, they finally started using him before that bye. I think Detroit's going to take this one, get back on track here. My upset of the week, little Kyler. Atlanta at Arizona, I got the Cardinals beating the Falcons.
Yeah, I thought about that because of him coming back, but I'm gonna go with Atlanta here. The only thing is like I don't like picking Atlanta. They're not a good pick either. Every week you wanna pick between them, but
You don't know if they're going to throw Kyle Pitts the ball 3 times, hand it to Bijan 6 times.
and then yeah, why'd you draft Bijan?
Or Kyle.
Like Arthur Smith is a dipshit for a coach, and then you're down at the
And you handed the Jonnu
1 yard line and you had it to Jonnu Smith.
on a sweep.
Like, what are we doing here? But yeah, I'm rolling with Atlanta this week. It's not, but that's just due to the fact that the Arizona, even with Kyler coming back, like I just don't think it's enough for them to really do anything. But I mean, their defense is still their defense.
It is. I just don't trust Atlanta.
No, and that I don't either. But since that was your upset of the week, I didn't want to spoil it for you. So
I mean, good Lord. This coach, we made fun of him 100 times, but I do kind of like what he's instilling over there in that franchise. This team has been feisty. Arizona, if you're going to play Kyler Murray, which I wasn't sure you were going to do, but if that's the direction you're going to go, he's going to be out there motivated.
yeah,
He doesn't want to go 1-16 so you can draft his replacement. He doesn't want to be Josh Rosen. I think he's going to get 5-6 wins under his belt if he's a starting quarterback. I looked at the schedule earlier. It's tough, but I think they can get a couple sneaky wins in there because they have been sneaky competitive this season
Yeah.
with shit at quarterback. So Atlanta, on the other hand, like you said, they're just too inconsistent. You don't know what kind of team is going to show up week to week, and it's not like we're going to get a good team or a bad team. We're going to get an average team or a bad team. So in that case, I will go Arizona. Washington at Seattle.
Seattle.
Keep it easy. I agree. But I do think Washington will possess some issues. Seattle, they are kind of worrying me as far as locking up a playoff seed after what I've seen this past few weeks. They should have lost to Cleveland too. New York Giants on the road at Dallas. They started this season with a 40-0 shutout loss. That was with Daniel Jones. This is not with the third string quarterback. I can't imagine
Might
what
be
the
even
score is
worse.
gonna be.
Yeah, it might be even worse.
Dallas. The Jets on the road at Las Vegas, Sunday Night Football.
Look, I'm intrigued by this Raiders team now because of Antonio Pierce and the direction that he's got this team going. I mean, look, they're smoking cigars in the locker room after the game. They're playing basketball in the locker room. Like, it's a different vibe.
Mm-hmm.
So, but while I'd like to pick them, I can't against this Jets defense. I still think it's too much for Aiden O'Connell.
That's the difference. The quarterback doesn't scare me on either side, but this defense is legit for New York. Vegas just won't have an answer. We can kind of neutralize Devontae with Sauce,
Yeah.
with Reed. So, I mean, what are you going to do? Denver at Buffalo, Monday Night Football to cap off Week 10.
Gotta go Buffalo.
Easy choice. If you don't get back on track, if you don't look dominant
Yeah.
against Denver, I'm going to be completely out. You might be on a popsicle stick next week.
Yep, I agree. It's just like, and like, Denver's not gonna beat Kansas City and Buffalo. It's not gonna happen. I mean,
You would think not.
but you see weird shit. Like I said, for me, everyone's overreacting about that. Kansas City lost to Denver, but Mahomes was truly sick, and like he wasn't feeling good. Like, and then look what he did to Miami.
And then it's always a tough game, division game, and then Denver always plays Kansas City tough specifically. So
Like we got, it's the
Yeah,
NFL, it is the NFL, bro. Like you can't expect even these great teams week to week to show up and play their A game.
it's hard.
Like it just doesn't happen.
You guys, if you're athletes,
Especially with the amount, how tough of a grind this type of season is, just to get to the playoffs and Super Bowl. When you finally lock up a playoff spot, that's when it's fucking go time. Fuck the injuries, fuck the little bang ups that we got going on the elbows or the knees or whatever. Like my thigh hurts, fuck it. Like give me a shot or whatever. I don't care. But like that's when it's true these guys get up for games or like division games, like as you say, like. But like the grind of the season, and then you get players who are sick like Mahomes, and it's like, of course he's not going to be the typical Mahomes, but we want to overreact to the film because he's playing like shit. But you know what? When he's not sick, what are we getting?
I was thinking about the Chiefs earlier today and how much people are questioning them, you specifically. And who does it sound like to you? I'm the best quarterback in the league. I have subpar weapons on the outside. They can't really separate, don't have a lot of speed, but they make clutch plays. I have the best tight end in the game. I have a top 10 defense. I arguably have the best coach in the game. And I have a running back who isn't top 10, but he makes big plays, and he is considered an X factor / game changer.
Who does it sound like?
The New England Patriots.
Are you talking about Brady days?
Tom Brady,
Yeah.
Gronk, great defense, good
Yeah.
coach, average weapons around him, so I'm not worried about the Chiefs.
No, and then why I'm starting not to be worried about them is because of what the defense has been showing me truly the past
It's phenomenal.
week to week.
Mahomes is it.
They haven't had a defense like this.
Never.
So
They've had better players, Matthew and Clark,
Yeah.
and they made opportunistic plays, but they haven't had a consistent team or unit like that
no,
since Mahomes has been there.
so that's the big fuck fearing Mahomes. It's that defense you got to fear, truly, because Mahomes doesn't even have to do as much.
When they're holding you to 20, oh man, because Mahomes can get you 21.
Yeah,
Easy.
it's a cakewalk.
Scary, bro.
That's why, and like
And it looks easy right now. You had the loss to Denver, is the loss to Denver, which sucks.
yeah.
Outside of that,
I know. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this, but like I'm saying, like this Buffalo Denver game, it's like I just you got Denver Buffalo Monday night, and then you got Denver Vikings Sunday night next week.
That's ugly. I don't know how they did that to Denver this year. But no primetime Kirk. We're gonna see
Yeah,
what kind of team you look like. Are you gonna have JJ back for that one?
that would probably be the game we get him back at the earliest. I think he's not playing this week. So
I'd wait for after the bye, low key.
if we're rolling, I mean,
Soft tissue. I mean,
there's no reason. You
you're
still,
not-
you still
you're
haven't
not
paid
gonna
him
lose
yet.
to Denver. You're not gonna lose to Denver. Well, that could be an argument to play him.
Right. I mean, we'll see what Denver looks like this week, but I just. I would love to beat Denver just because fucking I hate Sean Payton. But I mean, and like Russell Wilson is just like. It's Russell Wilson.
Who cares
Like,
anymore?
who cares?
Yeah.
Like, I really think the way B-Flow has got this defense going for us, it makes me confident going forward now because we're actually getting off the field. We're making turnovers. Like, they're flying around and playing hard.
Before we got on here, I told you if I was a Vikings fan, I feel more confident than I am right now as a Baltimore fan because we're peaking halfway through the season. You really want to peak week 16, 17, 18. You guys, like you said, put up your season high in points with the third string, fourth string quarterback, whatever you want to call it. Defense is coming into shape. JJ's not even out there. Schedule's easy as fucking shit. I'd feel great if I'm a Viking fan right now. Whereas me, our schedule's tough. We could lose 5 out of 6 games.
Yeah, it's just funny because like I think the Zimmer years have turned me into more of a negative fan because it's like I know what the fucking bullshit you guys are gonna do. Like,
All right. I'm just saying this now because there's no way I'll remember. Next season, by Halloween, if the Ravens have a better record than the Vikings, you have to dress up as Zimmer for the pod. For that whole week. With the eye patch and everything.
All right, I'll do it.
Bet. We gotta finish your
But
thought.
yeah, like I just think like the constant, we're good 1 year, bad the next. Good 1 year, bad the next. Like every other year type shit. Like I just don't know what the fuck to expect with this team. So I'm always negative. Like
Yeah.
it's like it's burned into me now. It's like why are we never consistent?
It doesn't make sense.
We show flashes and we go on runs and stuff, but then it's always when you need it most, it's not there.
Yep.
And it's just like that's why I'll fucking have Twitter fingers on Facebook when it's going because it's like this is fucking bullshit, bro. Like why are you like the way you are? Like
you drive yourself crazy trying to figure this shit out.
and it's like and then Kirk goes down. I'm just like, oh my god, bro. But like the start of the season, I was super fucking negative on this team because it's like why can't you hang on to the fucking ball, bro?
That's all it was. Start of the season.
Why? This team, you look at it now, the way we're fucking playing and coming on, and even without Kirk or JJ, like, this team should be a fucking 6-2.
That's what you can't do.
It should be,
It
though.
hurts even more because I look at it like we had fucking Kenyon Drake and Melvin Gordon starting at running back, losing to Pittsburgh and Indianapolis. We should be undefeated, but you can't look at it.
No, I know, and that's...
Especially when it's...
But when you look
we missed the playoffs.
but when you look at the landscape of the Vikings and their team overall, how it's built, the coaches, and what we did last year, but now we're even better this year on paper. Like,
I agree.
Tampa Bay, that shouldn't have been a loss. Chargers, that shouldn't have been a loss. Arguably should have beat the Chiefs, but that's for a different day.
We'll just, whatever, you can have that.
But, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, fuck, it's crazy. It makes you go mad because it's like, bro, what are we doing? These teams are not better than us. And then you get the fucking national media talking about this every day about, oh, the Vikings, they're not that good. And then, are you watching what I'm watching? Because these teams we're losing to are not good. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're not better than us.
I know.
So and that's why I hate like part of the NFL because it's such a week to week thing where it's like storyline after storyline. Like we're gonna make things up that aren't there, and it's just like you can't listen to that shit, but I still do because I work from home and I'm like I need something to have on, and I'm just like I succumb myself.
make myself suffer by listening to the national media. And it's like, the national media is some of the worst media in the world.
It's awful. It's all Fox 9.
It is. I mean, but even like, you know, you get even the first takes and the Undisputeds and shit, it's so biased, bro. It is so biased. Like,
And you know they're not watching the Vikings game because they have the same 6 topics.
no, they're just going off of Kirk Cousins as your quarterback.
What the box score say? Not here, folks. We keep it real. If we didn't watch the game, we'll let y'all motherfuckers know we ain't watched that shit. And if we watch, you know, we try and give you some analysis in the short time that we have. You feel me?
Yeah, so I mean, but yeah, we got week 10 picks in. I'm good if you are. I mean, I ain't got much else to say. So yeah, until we recap the fucking week 10, I guess.
Until next time.